Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a journey deep into the Nevada desert to uncover the truth behind America's most fiercely protected mystery. We're going to look right past those scary warning signs and armed guards to separate fact from fiction. It's a place literally everyone knows, but almost no one truly understands. We're talking about the enigma of Area 51. Okay, let's dive into this. For decades, the United States government flat out denied that this place even existed. Seriously, if you went looking for it back in the day, you wouldn't find a highway exit or a welcoming sign. Nope. Instead, you'd just be greeted by these barren dirt roads, imposing warning perimeters literally stating use of deadly force authorized, and anonymous private security contractors. The locals famously dubbed them camo dudes, and they'd just be out there patrolling the ridges in unmarked white trucks. There were zero public tours, zero press briefings, and absolute silence from Washington. Yet, despite this massive wall of official denial, the name Area 51 somehow became a worldwide phenomenon. Section 1, America's most secretive base, the reality behind the legend. You know, unlike a lot of ghost stories or urban legends, Area 51 is completely real, and the true mystery is what actually happened behind those fences. So, the facility itself is located deep within the unforgiving Nevada desert, sitting on a dry salt flat called Groom Lake. And it's naturally hidden away by this ring of rugged mountains. Now, this geography, it wasn't an accident. That perfectly flat terrain was absolutely ideal for testing runways, while the surrounding peaks made the perimeter virtually impenetrable to ordinary citizens and journalists. I mean, the security was unimaginably strict. Workers couldn't just casually drive to the office. Instead, they were flown in from Las Vegas on these highly classified, unmarked commuter planes with just a single red stripe down the side. You might have heard them referred to as Janet flights. This space was so deeply embedded in the black budget that even many high-ranking government officials had absolutely no idea what was going on inside those hangars. Section 2, Cold War Covert Operations, the real origin story. To truly understand Area 51, we've got to peel back that first layer of the onion. This massive veil of secrecy wasn't just government paranoia, right? It was born out of genuine, intense military necessity during a really volatile time in global history. Back during the Cold War, the U.S. faced this massive strategic requirement. They desperately needed a way to peer behind the Iron Curtain without getting shot down. So they urgently needed a remote, highly secure location to develop advanced aviation technology that could safely spy on the Soviet Union. They needed a place completely shielded from public view and from the prying eyes of foreign adversaries to build and test these absolute engineering marvels, starting with the legendary U-2 spy plane. Area 51 basically became the perfect isolated testing ground for next-generation top-secret aircraft. Section 3, Birth of the UFO Myth, Accidental Aliens. As the years passed, some incredibly strange reports started leaking out at the desert. Commercial pilots began reporting highly unusual aircraft flying at impossible altitudes. See, because classified planes like the U-2 flew at unprecedented heights, we're talking 60,000 feet up, they would catch the bright reflection of the setting sun way up high in the stratosphere, while the desert below was already pitch black. So to a commercial pilot, or just a local resident looking up, it looked exactly like a glowing, unbelievably fast-moving disk darting across the night sky. Soon enough, grainy photographs started surfacing showing mysterious shapes, and from there, the rumors just exploded. A lot of Americans became utterly convinced that the base was holding crashed alien spacecraft or that the government was secretly studying extraterrestrial visitors. Now, while no actual evidence ever proved these extraterrestrial claims, those wild stories simply refused to disappear. And this brilliantly illustrates what was really going on. The public rumor mill was screaming about extraterrestrial visitors and crashed UFOs, but the declassified reality? It was decades ahead military technology. People weren't seeing spaceships. They were witnessing real, ultra-advanced military aircraft like the A-12 Oxcart and the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter. And these planes were incredibly radical. Take the F-117, for example. It didn't even look aerodynamic. It was full of these harsh, angular lines and radar-evading shapes that were unlike absolutely anything ever put in the sky before. People were simply witnessing human technology that hadn't been revealed to the world yet. And the ultimate irony here? The military didn't mind the alien rumors at all. Actually, a UFO conspiracy was the absolute perfect cover story to hide their top-secret engineering from Soviet spies. Section 4, Declassification and Enduring Mystery. The veil lifts slightly. The history of this facility paints this really fascinating picture of how extreme secrecy basically creates its own mythology. Starting in the 1950s with those covert Cold War origins, the military deliberately kept the world entirely in the dark. And that absolute lack of information is exactly what allowed the following decades to become the peak of those wild UFO rumors. The less the government said, the more the public imagination happily filled in the blanks. This incredible dynamic held firm for over half a century until a watershed moment in 2013, which marked the CIA's official declassification of the base's history. That finally brings us to today, where the location remains very much active, highly classified, and heavily guarded. So the crucial point is this year, 2013. It's honestly kind of shocking to think about, but it took until 2013 for the CIA to finally and officially acknowledge that Area 51 even existed. And it's not like this acknowledgement was freely volunteered by the government either. It was actually forced out by a Freedom of Information Act request from a university archive. By finally releasing declassified documents about the historical U-2 and Oxcart programs, the agency formally confirmed the location and purpose of the base. For a lot of Americans, this official documentation finally solved that decades-old mystery of the strange, glowing lights darting around the desert night. But it's really important to remember that the base isn't some museum today. Far from it. Area 51 remains a highly active military installation. Its current missions are strictly classified, and its day-to-day operations remain entirely unknown to the public. So, despite countless investigations, documentaries, and declassified files, it continues to inspire endless fascination. Was it just a historical testing ground, or are there experimental projects flying out there today that we literally won't know about for another 50 years? As this quote perfectly captures, sometimes the most powerful mysteries are not the ones built on evidence, they're the ones built on secrecy. That enduring uncertainty is exactly what keeps the legend so vibrantly alive in our culture today. Which leaves us with one final lingering thought. If the government had the ability to keep a massive facility like Area 51 completely secret for decades, even using wild UFO myths as a convenient smokescreen, what other secrets might still remain hidden today? What else remains unseen behind the curtain of government secrecy? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, keep seeking structured answers, and I'll see you next time.